First, something worth mentioning right off the bat. The Real Brian wrote, "You and your small team of 5 back at DR Studios are on a roll with these hotfixes, firing them back to back every 2 weeks. I really appreciate and thank all of your hard work stabilizing the 1.3 build." Naviskio's reply, "Thanks from everyone in the team, not just me, for your kind words and passion on the game. We just want to make the best we can for everyone. I hope we can do even better in the future hotfixes and patches." And of course, the sentiment expressed by the Real Brian is certainly correct. DR, and for that matter Relogic, they just move mountains with a really small team, and so hats off to both of them. They've done excellent work. But moving along, next, some information and clarification for you multiplayer Terrarians out there. Demon Links wrote, "Guys, the thing there isn't working." And he shared this particular screenshot, and he actually had the courtesy to highlight this particular section of the screenshot. To that, Naviskio replied, "The teleport button is for the wormhole potion, so you would need to select another player to teleport, if that's what you mean. There's no other player in that screenshot, so you can't teleport to yourself." To that, Demon Links replied, "Yeah, I know, but I tried once with my friend and it's not pressable." Naviskio's answer, "Yeah, you have to be the same team, have the same potion, select another player in the same team. I tested on my end and I can teleport. Would need more information otherwise." So again, if any of you are struggling in multiplayer with that particular function, that was Naviskio's explanation for how all of that works. It seems to work if you do the steps properly, supposedly. Garrick wrote, "Hey Loki, will Master Mode will still have treasure bag but different item?" Loki's answer, "Who knows? You will have to wait and see." Interesting. 7page wrote, "Question Loki, versions 0.1 and 0.2 were released for both Android and iOS simultaneously. Why is 0.3 delayed for iOS?" Loki's answer, "Because iOS build had a delay, and since the bulk of 0.3's biggest impacts were to Android, it made sense not to hold 0.3 for iOS. Android 10 crashing, yo-yo bug, etc., all Android only. Why make Android 10 people sit through several more days of crashes?" And just to elaborate on that, apparently when they submit patches to Google and to Apple, they don't necessarily get them approved at the same time. And this time it seems that there was a delay on Apple's end approving it, hence the quicker release for Android devices, or at least that's how I interpret it. Anyway, Link, but in Terraria, wrote, "Terraria Lego set when?" That's an interesting question. Loki wrote, "Would be cool for sure, maybe, hopefully someday." I'll add that Link, but in Terraria is probably pretty excited for the release of Link's Awakening on Switch. I myself might have to duck out for a couple of days to go on a Link's Awakening bender with my Switch. I'm really looking forward to that. Anyway, 7page was back with, "I heard 0.2 iOS can't play with 0.3 Android. Have not tested though." And that is of course referring to Hotfix 2 for iOS not being compatible with Hotfix 3 for Android. Naviskio was there to answer, and Naviskio wrote, "Shouldn't be the case. As far as I know, that wouldn't affect connectivity for 0.2, 0.3 version." So there you have it from essentially the source that there shouldn't be any problems. Newt, and again I love that name, Newt wrote, "Loki, hotfix this week maybe." Loki's answer, "We will be testing 0.4 this week. Doubt you will see it before next week." If 0.4 is the fourth and final hotfix before they move on to developing controller support and further customization, then they'll definitely need to make sure it takes care of all major pressing issues, and so this one may take a little longer. Demon Links was back with, "Are there going to be world seeds in Terraria 1.3 in the future?" Loki's answer, "World seeds are still experimental, so maybe. That would be an awesome feature. While we can certainly share maps by trading the actual files, I can't think of an easier way to share interesting world gens than the World Seed system. If you wanted to play along with something like a Let's Play Videos map, that would be a really easy way to do it. But I suppose we're just gonna have to wait and see, because it is an experimental feature on PC only as far as I know at the moment. Anyway, Loki also wrote later on, "We are testing 0.4 this week. You won't get it this week. I don't know, only got Android today. It's a bit more meaty than 0.3. And so as I speculated earlier, I think this fourth hotfix patch, especially if they decide it will be the final hotfix, is going to be the final shebang. It's going to be pretty substantial in terms of patches. Pickle Boy wrote, Amazon will have 1.3 out after the 0.4 hotfix? A reasonable question, and to that Loki answered, possibly. So we plan to test it all week. For you Amazon users, I really hope that it is going to come out after 0.4. I'm sure you're really on tenterhooks waiting for it. Loki also wrote, I don't even have a full change log yet, so even I don't know. Hopefully I will know tomorrow. I mean, I know some of the things for sure. And he's, of course, referring to the fourth hotfix, and so the details are a little under wraps at the moment. Pinhead Pat wrote, what do you think's new in it? And Loki answered, I think that is a secret for now. Very cryptic reply, maybe there's some good stuff in there. Milan wrote, why is hosting so complicated? Loki's answer, if you took away Steam, Xbox Live, etc., this is how online games are hosted. We don't have the luxury of having our own in-house system, referring to Minecraft, nor a cross-Android iOS centralized thing, like Steam. So you would be looking at us building our own from scratch. And hey, maybe that happens someday, but it's not a quick or easy thing. And I'll add that it's probably not a cheap thing either. So what are the big news items at the moment? I think it's fair to say that the fourth hotfix, and hopefully the final one, may be out as early as next week, maybe early next week. And its changes, even though it's coming out apparently fairly soon, are not yet currently public. Maybe that'll come out in the State of the Game for September, which is, you probably know, comes out around the 20th of every month, and is their big monthly news update. So we'll just have to wait a few more days and find out about that. Also, the big news item, of course, is the release of Mobile 1.3 for Amazon devices. And that's apparently going to be here once the fourth hotfix is out. I don't know about the specific timetable, but it would seem that shortly after 0.4, we may see Mobile 1.3 for Amazon devices, which should bring quite a few other players into the fold, which is great. And I assume those new players are going to be able to cross-play with Android and iOS devices. I'm not a programmer myself, but they've made comments indicating that Amazon uses basically a modified Android system or something like that. So presumably it can communicate with Android and iOS for like a big happy Terraria community, but we'll see. Anyway, that's it really. If I get any more information, I'll be sure to share it. So thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned to the channel.